So let's have a little recap of the 99 35th anniversary package Mustang GT. In this picture of an example of a very nice one, you can see it has a hood scoop, side scoops, twisted side skirts, raised spoiler, hood stripe. Those were all things that were not available on the normal 99 Mustang GT, and there's more that we're going to look at here. But just as a recap, there are a lot of things about this car, especially on the back. You can see that honeycomb deck lid panel and the raised spoiler. The wheels were the same 5-spoke wheels as the GTs, but they were actually bright machined 5-spoke aluminum wheels, so they did have painted inserts and they were machined. Again, the side scoops are different. They appeared later on the GTs, but there was some differences. Look at the hood. It's hard to see, but the hood scoop actually comes down. It actually goes flush onto the back of the hood. That is different than the hood scoop that is on the 01 to 04 Mustang GTs. They even had an aluminum shift ball like the one on the Bullet, so that was back in '99. And the seats are very specific. They have silver leather in them, and the door panels also have the silver on them. So just a little recap, there's more we'll get into, but I saw this Mustang GT listed for sale for parts. It said it was a 2000, but looking at it I could see the deck lid panel, I could see the 35th anniversary badges on the side that all Mustangs besides the Cobras came with that year. But I did see the seats and the gauge cluster. I could tell this was a true 35th anniversary. Door panels, everything was there. This was a automatic car. You can see the 35th anniversary gauge cluster and the back seats there, and it looked like it was in pretty good shape. But I asked if they would sell the car to me, and the guy said, no, I'm going to part this car out. I asked 3 times and he would not sell me the car. So I decided to go over and see what I could get off of it. The door panels were pretty banged up. The seats were kind of torn. He said the interior was already spoken for. The gauge cluster was still there. As I looked around the car, I thought, man, this is actually in pretty good shape. The side scoops were there with the honeycomb in them. That was 35th anniversary only. I'll get to that later. I'll show you how it's different than the 01 to 04. Flat top spoiler, different than the 01 to 04 Mustangs. And the side skirts on one side were still there. See, they're flat and they twist. Those are the 35th anniversary ones. So I know this was an anniversary car, and it really bothered me he would not sell me the car. The engine was there, transmission was there, he had taken parts off of it. He said it turned over with a breaker bar, but he hadn't run the car. He said the car had about 200,000 miles on it. I asked if he had the title and if he'd just sell me the car so that I could restore it, but he would not do it. So maybe I'll buy the rest of the car later. He said he might sell me the rest of the car later, but he just wanted to part it out, which was really sad and unfortunate. So I got the 35th anniversary badges, which is the same that would be on any V6 or GT of that year. The gauge cluster my brother bought, I did get the spoiler off, which is special. As I said, the side scoops, I got those off. They even have a 35th black sticker, which is pretty cool. That shows they were 35th only. And my brother had bought the honeycomb deck lid panel pieces. They were hard to get off, and I knew that they had some pieces behind them. But I went back and looked at the car a week later, and here's how it looks now. He has stripped the dash and the carpet, door panels, everything. It looks like a trashy mess now, which is really sad. It was so complete. There's the radio. He busted that off trying to get the dash out, you know, broke a lot of pieces, but really sad to see that this car was able to be saved, and I could have put it back together pretty quickly or fixed it up quickly, and now it's getting to the point where it's turning into a junk shell. Now, this debate goes on. You see a lot of people parting out these nice Mustangs, and you say, well, your time must not be worth anything because all the effort and time you spend getting all the parts, dealing with people, low ballers, everything. By the time all's said and done, you only make a little bit more than what you could have sold the whole car for. In this case, I would have paid him a decent amount for the car just to save it, and it's been something I've had to struggle with lately because I really wanted to fix this car up, and I might end up with it later, like I said. I told him when he's done with it, maybe I'll take it and we'll just see, but I heard somebody wants to cut the quarter panel off. At that point, it's going to be pretty trashed. So basically, they made 4,628 of these 35th anniversary GTs. There were 2,318 that were coupes, 2,310 that were convertibles, and the color breakdown, performance red, there was 1,555 of those. The black ones like this, there were only 1,299. Silver, there were 1,259, and crystal white, there were only 515 of those. So here we have a black one, one of 1,299. Too bad that it could not be saved. Maybe I'll get the car later, we'll see. Something I do want to mention though is that this hood is not the hood that was on the car. It's off the guy's car, and the front bumper was also taken off for this other guy's car. So he said this car was never wrecked. It was a straight body car. He had wrecked his or something, and so he took the front end pieces off of it and then he was parting this car out. So it was a straight car, but it's getting pretty trashed. So the only thing I could really do was enjoy the parts that I could get off of it and try to save those. I tried to preserve the 35th anniversary sticker that was on the back of the side scoop. You can see here it has some numbers. This is basically just going to be for reference and for documentation. It is a true 35th anniversary scoop, and I'll show you some more pieces on here that show that. But the sticker was falling off, and as you'd start to peel it, it was crumbling and flaking, and so I put some clear tape over the front of it because that's the only way I could really preserve it, even though it still didn't do very well at that. But anyway, it was the best I could do because I needed to clean up these side scoops. I decided I might as well just get this piece of sticker off and have it on my toolbox and just save it as a piece of documentation because there wasn't much I can do for it. I could have just left it there, but I wanted to clean up these side scoops and fix the tabs. The tabs were all still there, but when you take these off the car, sometimes they crack, and we could have gone from the inside of the car to get them out and pinch the little clips together, but the guy did it and he broke it, and I was just like, okay, whatever. So we just yanked them off and they came out pretty nicely. And so this is just me finishing up taping that sticker to preserve it as best as I could. But I had to get that sticker off because I was going to clean these scoops inside and out and make sure that they were nice and clean. Then I could address fixing the tabs by just gluing them, and you'll see how they are. It's really not so bad, but it was just something that had to be done. So I got to cleaning the inside, and as I cleaned the inside of these scoops, I could still see some really cool factory marking on one of them, and there's also a little area on them that actually say 35th anniversary that's been engraved in there. So looking at the inside of the scoop here, first there's a little number down here at the bottom, and then here's a J with a circle around it, and a 257 it looks like. Pretty cool to see that. And here it says 35th. So I thought that was really interesting. And then this part number here is actually on the inside of the scoop itself. I removed the honeycomb piece, and so this is not the honeycomb piece. This is the honeycomb piece here, and it has its own part numbers on there too. And so that's pretty cool to see. This is all 35th anniversary specific, like I said. I did take this out to clean it and to look at the numbers and to clean behind where it was. But this honeycomb is a different pattern than what's on the 01 to 04 Mustangs, or even the 99 to 04s with the half side scoops. See here on the Mach 1, you can see that the honeycomb pattern is much different. The 35th anniversary has bigger honeycomb pieces. The later Mustangs had the smaller ones, so it is different. It's interesting that Ford would change that, and so I just took some cleaner and cleaned these out, decided to shine them up and get them as nice as I could while they were off the car and out of the side scoop. Used a toothbrush and scrubbed in there a little bit too. But I just wanted to clean these off, and I decided that I might as well clay bar and wax them and get them nice and probably just hang them up on the wall for now. There is a possibility that these parts will make it back onto that car if I ever did end up with that car, because I've thought about it a lot, and it really is unfortunate that I had to take all these parts off and buy them if they're just going to go back on the car. But that was a risk that I had to take because at this point I probably won't end up with that car, so I did want to get those special pieces off before they just got, you know, thrown away or taken and put on something else. So I put the pieces all back together, and then I cleaned up the side scoops, and I went ahead and got some clay bar, and I went to get all the contaminants out of the paint. And you know, this car is not perfect, and it probably had around 200,000 miles is what he said, so I just wanted to get the car cleaned up. But surprisingly, the paint was pretty good. You can see the spoilers there. I'm going to get to that later, and it was kind of peeling, and you never know when a car has been repainted or who knows what, but This car still had the 35th anniversary sticker on the back of the scoop, so I assumed that it was all original. And I just wanted to get that clay bar and get the contaminants out of the clear coat so that these scoops could be preserved. And then I followed up with some nice Meguiar's Gold Class wax just to get them cleaned up. I could do some wet sanding or polishing or who knows what with these things, but that'll be in the future if I decide to do that. But I just wanted to get them looking nice, and they cleaned up really well. So here you can see, not perfect, but very nice shape. Very good looking for the mileage and everything that that car had with it. So looking at the tabs, this is what I was talking about, how they're broken. They only have one side like this, and you can see how they're cracked right there. They're still intact, but I like to just put a little glue on them. And that's all they really needed. And they're going to hold up nicely. I did use a toothpick, and, you know, I had two types of Gorilla Glue that I had gotten, so you know, whatever works, works. Now the back part of these tabs really isn't going to have much wind resistance pushing against them. It's the back side of the scoop, so they're basically just holding them on. The front side's probably more important, and it's very sturdy. So this was just a fun little project, and there's more to come with the spoiler. I have some things I want to do with that. I'll show you coming up here, but I just wanted to save these pieces off that car. I wanted to buy the car, like I said 100 times in this video. It's really too bad that the guy wouldn't let me save the car, because you know that's what I'm all about. I do so many stories. I love these cars. I'm an enthusiast with these cars so much, but anyway, I'm just gonna let this glue and hold, and we'll continue with these pieces later and you'll see more of it. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little project, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.